Hello, today we're going to show you how to replace the foam surround on JL Audio speaker. This model is a JL Audio 10W6 V2 version 2. That's important to note when you're ordering parts from us or calling us for parts so that we get you the correct part for that. We also have the version for the 12W6 V2. This is the 10-inch, and you'll see that sits right on there just like the original one. The 12-inch one is similar, just a larger size. And you'll notice this speaker that came into us for repair here has split all the way around the cone like this, and that's a pretty common problem we see on these when they hit a certain age there and the material just dry rots. So when we come back, we'll show you how to remove the foam, clean the cone, and do the repair. Alright, so what we'll start with on the repair here on the JL Audio 10W6 version 2 or V2 is we'll want to remove the foam edge. You can see here where it's broken away from the cone like we showed you a little bit earlier. The best thing to do here is to just take a sharp utility knife, make sure you have a good blade in there, and then we'll just kind of come along the outside edge, just cut this slightly like this, and this piece will come off in one complete cut, just like this. So this is garbage. This is the old foam that's always, that's rotted away, so we'll get rid of that. That goes away. And you'll see we still have some residue here on the cone, in this groove on the polypropylene cone here that we need to deal with, and a little bit of residue along the frame edge that we need to remove as well. So we'll start with the cone on this model, and what we like to do is come in here with a utility knife and just kind of get a feel for what's going on with the foam here. You can kind of lightly score along this area of the cone right here like this. This will just help remove the foam easier for you here in a little bit. You're not cutting the cone, you're just lightly scratching or scoring through the foam itself. And you'll see that there's a small bead of adhesive on the back. It's almost like a rubber adhesive that's kind of all one piece. So the best thing to do here is just kind of get a start on that and peel that. And then we'll just work that all the way around the cone. Takes a little bit of work to kind of peel it off in sections here, but you won't hurt the cone. Everything on these subwoofers is pretty bulletproof, so really we just want to peel the pieces away, just kind of scrap those over here. That's what you want to do there. We'll work this all the way around the cone. Like this. And when we're done, we'll show you how to use a little rubbing alcohol to kind of clean up what residue is left after you've done the hard work of pulling this old adhesive off around the perimeter of the cone here. See, that comes off easily. You just have to kind of pick at it, and that's really the best way to do it, to get all the old glue off there. Kind of dig in with your fingers, get a little bit dirty, and get it done. Okay, so now we've removed that adhesive all the way around here on the back side. The best thing to do here at this point is we can kind of lift the cone up like this, and you can either use the edge of your utility knife and kind of scrape the material here, or a 1/2-inch wood chisel works well to kind of come in, as you can see here, and just push the old foam away. Since it's deteriorated, it removes rather easily. It just takes a little bit of work, a little bit of a light touch with the chisel. Works very well all the way around the cone. Pieces of the gooey foam will just kind of drop off the cone into the frame, and that's all right. You'll see what we've got going on here like this. We'll finish up with the cone, and then I'll show you how to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol there and clean up what's left of the residue, and then we'll do the frame. Alright, so we finished up removing what was left of the foam residue on the cone. You can see we still have a little bit left here that we want to deal with on this. A lot of this will just kind of rub off by hand, as you can see here, but what I like to do is I like to use a little rubbing alcohol. You can also use a lacquer thinner if you like, but be careful with that, just it's a little stronger to work with. And take a paper towel and just dampen rubbing alcohol into a paper towel folded over itself a few times, and just come right along the edge of the cone like this and dampen what's left of the foam residue on the cone. And I'll just kind of show you a quick run on this here. We'll do it a couple of times, get it nice and moist with the rubbing alcohol helps kind of lubricate and remove that old material there. And you can see what happens is it starts to pick up right away, and any of the old dried foam is now coming off very easily. At this point, you can use your chisel again and come around, and you'll see what happens here. You're getting a little bit on the blade right there. That's what you want. Keep an old rag kind of handy on your bench so that you can keep the tip of the blade cleaned off. And that's what you need to do on that. The cone is ready. We'll go ahead and move right onto the frame at this point. With the frame, you want to use your utility knife. Come in here straight down like this. Just kind of cut along the groove in the frame where the foam surround is attached, and you're just breaking the glue bond from the frame, working downward with just a little bit of pressure until the blade meets the metal of the frame. Just like this, all the way around is a good starting point for you for removing the foam. Then we'll come in with the blade sideways this way, and we'll work right underneath the foam, start to kind of cut through it. You can hear it working at this point. You'll see what happens is the foam and glue come up in one piece. So you have to just take your time and work around the frame with this a couple of times. Works very easily. That's what you're after right there. Just like that. And if you have a little bit of foam residue left over, you can come back in with your chisel if you like, just like this. Give it a light bit of pressure right in here if that makes things easier for you. So there's no 100% right way to do the cleaning. It's whatever works best for you. Most of our customers let us know that the blade is the easiest for them because they can kind of work it and cut right underneath the adhesive like this. So we've shown you about half of the frame here. We'll finish this up and then we'll come back and show you how to glue the new surround to the cone and to the frame, which is a pretty straightforward process. Alright, so now that we have the cone cleaned, as we showed you earlier in the video here, we cleaned the entire outer edge of the frame. We just took our time with it. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Scrape all the old foam and residue off of the frame here like this is what you want. You'll notice on the new surround that they're designed specifically for these speakers, so they fit perfectly right in there like that. I'm lifting the cone up with my hand, with my fingers behind the cone right now where you can't see, but you'll see that the part fits on there very nicely. And this is the 10-inch version, 10W6 V2. We also have the 12W6 V2 that we showed you earlier as well. Same exact procedure, just a bigger speaker. So what we'll do here first is we'll take our adhesive tube. We'll go ahead and apply a bead of adhesive right to the frame or to the cone edge, right about in the middle. About 1/8 of an inch bead is all you need, just like that. You'll notice I'm turning the speaker with one hand and resting my hand on the frame to kind of act as a guide to apply the adhesive. That way you have a nice clean finish with your bead of adhesive there. That's what you want. You come in here like this, and at this point I'll take my fingertip and just kind of lightly smooth the adhesive down to a thin layer all the way around the cone edge. Get a little bit on the cone, that's okay. We can wipe that up later with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, that's no problem. That's what you want. Adhesive all the way around the cone. One thin film of adhesive, nice and even all the way around. We'll take the surround, we'll set it right down in the groove of the frame of the speaker like this, and then I'm just going to come behind the cone and lift it up, and I'll hold it with one hand while I work the surround into the adhesive with my other hand, just like this. That's exactly what you want to have happen there. And at this point there's no movement. The part is such a tight fit that it only goes in one way, so there's no room for adjustment there. We'll hold this up, we'll keep working this down and let this work in for about 15 minutes to half an hour. Then we'll come back and show you how to glue the surround to the frame, and we'll get it finished up for you. Okay, so we've let the surround on the JL subwoofer here dry to the cone for about an hour. You want to really let it get nice and secure to the cone before you move on to the next step, which is gluing the frame. And on these particular models, the 10 10W6 version 2 and the 12W6, you'll see you can kind of lift the surround up here. There's a little groove right on the frame right here that the surround sits in, that the foam fits in perfectly. I'll kind of lift it so the camera can kind of see, and I can show you that all the way around. That's the area that you cleaned earlier when you did the prep of the frame. Okay, we always come around, use a coffee stirrer stick or the edge of your utility knife here to make sure we've done all that for you. We've let it sit for about an hour now. It's ready to go. These are self-centering pretty much at this point. The part is so tight on the way that it mounts to the cone and the way that it fits in the groove on the frame here all the way around, that the unit is centered for you just by nature of the part being in place. So there's not a lot you need to worry about there. What we'll do here is we'll take our adhesive tip, we'll show you how to glue, or our adhesive tube, we'll show you how to apply the glue to the frame, and it'll set up and it'll be good to go. So we just kind of lift the surround up like this, give it a little bead of adhesive right around here, about 1/8 of an inch or so. That's what you want. Just like this. Another way you could do it would be to just lift the whole cone assembly up to clear it, but sometimes it's a little easier. You can see what you're doing a little better to actually just peel the surround back like this. And we have a nice bead of adhesive all the way around. Cap the glue, set that back off to the side. And normally I'll kind of start my adhesive bead right here where the JL Audio logo is on the cone and move one time around. You don't need a lot, you don't need to go around it twice, just one time with an even bead is fine. Press the surround or the cone assembly down like this. It'll seat right in the groove of the frame. Again, you come in here with your coffee stirrer, something small and flat like this, what you need there to set this in place. Edge of your utility knife works well. Either tool that you have handy is fine. And just work this down into the adhesive just like I'm showing you here. Take your time with it. Don't get in a hurry on it. And that's pretty much it. Once you've gone around the cone a couple of times, you'll want to come back after a few minutes and double check it again, maybe after 5 to 10 minutes, and then again maybe at the 20 or 30 minute mark. And come in and make sure that everything is secured. Once it dries for about an hour or two, it's good to use. We recommend usually a few hours on these because these see a pretty heavy load of power in the car installations that these come out of. So we want to make sure that everything's good and tight to the frame so that your parts don't separate when you put some current to them. So we'll do it like this. Again, just show you one more time, just kind of running around. You can even kind of spin the speaker like this and just hold this down right into the corner of where the foam surround meets the landing area here, and that works very well on these. And that'll pretty much conclude the repair for you on these. JL Audio 10W6 V2, 12-inch version, 12W6 V2 is identical, just a bigger speaker, and that's it. That takes care of these. We'll let this sit up, and this is ready to reinstall into the sub box.